Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, going to be breaking down the NBA slate on Draftkings for Wednesday, March the 8th. We have another, mid-sized slate for Wednesday, 7 games tonight, guys. So we're going to go game by game, talk through each one of these 7 games, give you guys a quick breakdown of this slate, what I do like, taking a first look on Tuesday night. But as always, before we get started with the breakdown, if you guys do enjoy these DFS videos, if they do help you out, make sure you hit that like button down below, hit that subscribe button if you have not yet, and if you guys are new to the channel, if you've never checked out PrizePicks before, PrizePicks is the sponsor of this video. You guys can sign up for PrizePicks, use my promo code NOAH. When you do sign up for PrizePicks with my promo code, you will get your first deposit matched up to $100. Basically, whatever you deposit out of the gate, whether it be $20, $25, $50, they'll double that up to $100. So definitely check out PrizePicks, guys. Take a look at some of the player props they already have posted for Wednesday's games. You can see some of the props they have available now, some of the points props. Obviously, as we get closer to the start of the games on Wednesday night, there will be a ton of props from pretty much every category, ton of different categories they offer. And on PrizePicks, you can mix and match sports as well. You can make multi-sport entries. So if you like to dabble into other sports, PrizePicks does offer a ton of other sports besides just NBA. So check them out, guys. Use that promo code NOAH when you do sign up, and you will get your first deposit matched up to $100. But yeah, 7-game slate for Wednesday night. Let's go ahead and talk through it, guys. We'll start off with the first game of the night, Atlanta and Washington. Washington, they're on the second night of a back-to-back. There's actually a good amount of teams, I believe, that are on back-to-backs today. So going to definitely have to monitor the injury report today. We saw a lot of guys got ruled out Tuesday. That could kind of be the same thing here. But starting off with Washington, again, second night of a back-to-back. Kyle Kuzma was questionable for Tuesday's game, and he did wind up playing. So we'll have to monitor his status, see if he plays here. I assume he will, but looking at Washington as a whole, I don't think there's too much that really stands out from the Wizards. Porzingis is 8,900, Beal's 8,100, Kuzma is 7,500. Where these guys are priced at, I think they're all viable GBP plays, but I wouldn't say that any of them stand out head and shoulders above the rest. We'll have to see if Monte Morris plays. He's listed as questionable. He didn't play Tuesday night. Obviously, if he doesn't play, we can continue to expect DeLon Wright to start. DeLon Wright should continue to play about 32 minutes a night. He's a pretty solid per minute producer, so I think he probably would be the most appealing play from Washington if he is starting. But there's not too much to love from the Wizards here. It's going to depend on what their injury report looks like, who actually is in and out. But assuming that everyone is in that played on Tuesday night, there's not too much to like here. Besides, I think DeLon Wright probably my favorite play on the Wizards. Now, on the other side with Atlanta, it's a pretty good spot for Atlanta. So Trae Young coming in at 8,800, definitely discounted from what we normally see Trae Young priced at. Trae Young's game log is not the most appealing. He's definitely been underwhelming lately, but he's also kind of had some tough matchups against Miami. Had to face them twice. Did really well against Portland. Did face this Washington team about a week ago. Had 45 DK points. 8,800 I think is really cheap for Trae Young. We normally don't see him priced below 9K, so I'm very interested in Trae Young today. I think he's probably my favorite play on Atlanta. DeJounte Murray, I don't mind either at 7,700. I have a feeling at Trae Young's price tag, he's going to wind up getting some ownership today. So if you want to pivot in GPPs, you could obviously pivot to DeJounte. Clint Capella's minutes have been pretty solid lately. He actually got up to 34 minutes last game, and that was with Okongwu not getting in foul trouble or anything. They just played Capella 34 minutes. Does that continue? I really don't know. But Clint Capella is a really good per minute producer, and if he continues to play over 30 minutes, yeah, he can easily outperform the salary. And we saw him crush Washington when they did just play 35 minutes, 47 DK points. He's probably my second favorite play on Atlanta behind Trae Young, Clint Capella, that is. And then the rest of Atlanta, Saddiq Bey, I know he got hot off the bench last game, played 32 minutes, shot the ball really well. If you want to go to him in GBPs, he's a viable dart throw. John Collins is super, super cheap, and he's been pretty terrible lately. Last game was somewhat promising for John Collins. Played 20 minutes, had 21 DK points. He's a tough guy to really trust right now, but the price tag is so low that I think he's at least worth a shot in GPPs. If you're playing a lot of lineups, he's worth including in your player pool. But outside of that, I think that's pretty much it for Atlanta, and I think that's pretty much it for this game. So let's go ahead and move on to the next game, Portland and Boston. We'll start off on the Boston side. For the Celtics today, it's a pretty good spot against Portland, so I think both Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown look solid here. Tatum's coming in at 10,300, Brown's coming in at 9,100. Given that those price tags, I think Tatum probably is my preferred between the two. We're getting a little bit of a discount on Tatum from what we've had the last few slates. He's been kind of like in the 10.5, 10.6 range. We've seen him above 11K for some part of the season whenever Jaylen Brown was out. At 10.3, we know Tatum has the upside to pay off this price tag. Portland, I don't think really has anyone that can slow him down. They'll probably put Jeremy Grant on him. Jeremy Grant's a solid defender, but I don't think he's going to slow Tatum down. So definitely interested in Tatum as a pay-up option. Brown is fine as well at 9,100. The rest of the guys, though, from the Celtics, Brogdon, Smart, Derek White, none of them look super appealing here, especially with Tatum back for this game. Al Horford at 5,500 I think is okay. Without Robert Williams, I think Horford definitely gets a boost, and we saw him have a huge game last game with Williams out, played 46 minutes. Obviously, that game went to double overtime, but he still was crushing even before the overtime periods. Had a big game, 20 points, 14 rebounds, 6 assists. Horford is going to play all of his minutes as center for the most part. He should be more productive playing his minutes at center. His rebounding numbers should see a spike as well. Matchup against Portland has been very favorable for centers this season. So kind of interested in Al Horford. Probably my second favorite play on Boston behind Tatum. And that's really it for the Celtics. Nothing else looks appealing here. Now on the other side with Portland, it's a really tough spot for Portland. But right now without Anthony Simons, Yusuf Nurkic is listed as questionable for this game, so we'll have to see if he comes back. But without Anthony Simons, we can expect a really big role for Damian Lillard. The matchup's pretty tough. Boston's a great defensive team, but man, Dame is just playing so many minutes right now. He's taking 25, 30 shots a game. It's hard to consider him a bad play almost any slate. Now, is Dame going to be a priority today? I don't think so. Last slate against Detroit, I thought that was a spot where Dame projected really well. It was a great matchup. This is not the case today, but still, I would not be surprised to see Dame have a good game here just because he's going to play so many minutes and he's going to take a ton of shots. The offense is going to run through Dame, but I wouldn't consider him a priority today. Jeremy Grant at 7,300, I'll probably pass on as well. The guy that I do want to talk about from Portland that I kind of like for value is Cam Reddish. We've seen Cam Reddish's role really increase lately. He's been playing big minutes, 33, 37, 40 minutes. They've been staggering him and Dame. So whenever Dame subs out, they'll bring Cam Reddish back in. So Cam Reddish is going to play some minutes or a good amount of minutes with Dame on the bench, and he should be really productive in those minutes. He's basically their backup point guard right now, Cam Reddish is. So I think at 4,700, even in a tough matchup against the Celtics, I think Cam Reddish looks like a pretty decent value play today. So I'm definitely interested in him. I think he's on my radar. He's probably my favorite play from Portland, to be honest with you. And even like a Matisse Thybulle, I think is okay at 4K. He's going to play a lot of minutes as well. They're going to want his defense in this matchup against Tatum and Brown. Thybulle's not a very good permanent producer, but we've seen him have some good games with Portland since getting traded to Portland. He's popped for 39 DK points, 27. He's going to play huge minutes, so that at least makes him a viable cheap option at 4K. But I think you do get a bigger ceiling from Cam Reddish, who's a little bit more expensive. That's really it, though, for Portland. That's it for this game. Let's move on to the next one, Cleveland and Miami. So for Miami today, tougher spot here against Cleveland. This is definitely not a game I really want to be too heavily invested in. It's one of these games that should be fun to watch. It should be a pretty close game, but I don't think it's going to be one I want to heavily invest in for DFS. You got two teams that play good defense. You got two teams that play at a really slow pace. For Miami, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, all those guys are going to continue to see a slightly increased role without Kyle Lowry, but the price tags have kind of already adjusted for that, and the matchup against Cleveland doesn't make really any of these guys stand out. I think there's all viable GBP dart throws. Caleb Martin had a big game off the bench, but I think he kind of benefited with Kevin Love being out. Kevin Love, I believe, is probable and expected to play, or Kevin Love's questionable. So, maybe if Kevin Love remains out, we could look to Caleb Martin. Again, he came off the bench last game, but he was really productive, had 33 DK points, played 28 minutes. I would want to see him in the starting lineup, but if he comes off the bench again, I think he's still a playable value. Max Strus actually started last game in place of Kevin Love. He really didn't do anything as a starter. Played 22 minutes, had just 11 Draftkings points. I think he would be an okay value if he's starting again, if you do want to go there. He's only 3,600, and there's really not a ton of value on this slate right now. So I don't mind Strus, but that's obviously assuming that Love remains out. If Love returns, then really no interest in those guys. And that's pretty much it for Miami. There's not a ton that really stands out in Miami today. On the Cleveland side, it's kind of the same thing. Tough matchup here against a Miami team that plays good defense, plays at a slow pace. Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, both have a ton of upside, but neither one of them at their price tags look like super appealing plays today. Same could be said for Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. I mean, Cleveland is just like a full fade for me, especially like as a one lineup guy. I don't think I'm playing anyone on Cleveland in my one lineup today. Now, if you're playing 150 lineups, of course you can throw in some Donovan Mitchell, you can throw in some Darius Garland, but there's no priorities coming from Cleveland. There's no priorities coming from this game. It's, again, going to be a fun game to watch, but for DFS, not going to be one I'm too heavily invested in. So let's move on to the next one, Dallas and New Orleans. Talk about the Pelicans first. So looking at the Pelicans today, still obviously no Zion Williamson. Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum, both going to continue to see pretty big roles without Zion Williamson. Jonas Valanciunas is back now, so obviously that hurts them a little bit, but still, we can expect really, really big minutes for Brandon Ingram. I think this matchup against Dallas is definitely a favorable one. Without Dorian Finney-Smith, I think Dallas's defense is not going to be as strong. I don't know if Dallas really has anyone that can slow down Ingram one-on-one here, so at 8,400, I think Ingram is a solid mid-range play. He's probably my favorite play on the Pelicans. Don't mind CJ McCollum either, but I'd rather go to Ingram. Jonas Valanciunas, first game back from injury, played 32 minutes, and that was in a blowout. He did lose some minutes due to a blowout in that game. I think he got subbed out like a minute or two early. So if they're going to continue to play Jonas Valanciunas 30-plus minutes, which I think they will while Larry Nance is out, I mean, 6,900 for J-Val, he still has the upside to pay off this price tag when he's going to play over 30 minutes. Plus the matchup against Dallas, I think, is pretty good. Dallas's defense against bigs has not been like too strong, so I'm definitely into J-Val. I think him and Ingram are my two favorite plays on the Pelicans. I know Trey Murphy had a big game last game, but I really don't want to chase that. He's going to play big minutes, but he's a really low usage guy, not someone that I really ever get excited to roster in for DFS, especially when he's priced where he is. Same could be said for like Herb Jones and the rest of these guys. So that's pretty much it for the Pelicans. Nothing else stands out here. Now on the other side with Dallas, second night of a back-to-back for Dallas, so going to have to monitor their injury report. I assume everyone will play here, but we'll start off with Luka and Kyrie. Obviously, those are the two guys that really stand out most from Dallas. I don't have an issue with either one. Luka's 11,800. Kyrie is 9,400. Luka just continues to have like a super, super high floor. His ceiling, playing with Kyrie, I don't think it's going to be as high. We haven't seen like Luka put up like a massive like 70, 80 point game. I don't think those games are going to be as, off. He's not going to have those games as often playing with Kyrie, but the ceiling, or the floor, is still really high. Even a bad night from Luka, he still is going to give you like 50 DraftKings points. On this slate, is Luka a priority? I don't think so, not right now, just because there's not a ton of value. It was very easy to pay up for Luka on Tuesday's slate because there was so much value Tuesday. We'll have to see if that, what happens with the value today. Right now, Luka not a priority for me, but obviously he's playable in tournaments. Same could be said for Kyrie. But I don't really want to go to anyone else on Dallas. It's just too hard to predict which one of these other guys is going to have a good game if any of them do. I mean, right now, Luka and Kyrie are just dominating usage, so it's really hard for Christian Wood, Tim Hardaway Jr., these guys to really have big games. I mean, Christian Wood is so cheap, but he's not playing right now. I mean, he's playing like 20 minutes a night, if that. So hard to get excited about Christian Wood, even when he's only 4,900. He's not playing enough minutes, I don't think. So that'll do it for that game. Let's move on to the next one, the Bulls and the Nuggets. So looking at the Nuggets today, only news to monitor here is Michael Porter Jr., and he's probable, so he's expected to play anyway. So the Nuggets should have all their guys healthy. Vlatko Kankar missed last game, but I don't think that really matters for DFS purposes. So we'll start off with Jokic. Jokic coming in at 11,600. I think Jokic is a solid pay-up option here. Jokic is, his scoring has been a little bit down lately, but he's still been contributing with the rebounds and the assists. I mean, he's had a triple-double in 3 out of his last 4 games, and last game he was 1 assist shy of a triple-double. Like, Jokic has only been scoring, 15 points a game, and he's still been putting up, huge DraftKings points games because he's just going to stuff the stat sheet when he's out there. Even when he's not scoring a ton, he can still rebound a ton. He can still rack up a ton of assists. The matchup against the Bulls, I think, is okay. The Bulls' defense has been pretty good this season, and especially as of late. So I don't love the matchup for Jokic, but obviously Jokic is a matchup-proof player, can put up a huge game any night. He is firmly in play on the slate. He's definitely my favorite play on Denver. Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, MPJ, none of these guys look super appealing, honestly, and the rest of Denver, I'm just going to fade. I just don't see anything else that looks that great here. Jokic definitely my favorite play on the Nuggets. Now, on the other side with Chicago's a tough team today. I mean, it's hard to really get excited about anyone on the Bulls. They're all priced correctly, and the matchup against Denver is not the best. Zach LaVine's 8,600, DeRozan's 8,200, Vooch is 7,900. DeRozan's probably my favorite of those three. We've seen his production it's been trending in the right direction. Last game against Indiana was not great, but he did have 44 DK points against Phoenix, did have almost 40 DK points against Detroit. DeRozan's definitely not been playing that well lately. He's definitely been in kind of a slump, but At 8,200, he has the upside to pay off this price tag, especially when he's playing 38 to 39 minutes a night. But there's no priorities coming from Chicago today. I mean, Chicago doesn't look super appealing, to be honest with you. Overall, this is not a game I'm super interested in either. There's a lot of like unappealing games today. This is another one of them. From Denver, I think Jokic, and overall in this game, Jokic probably my favorite play. But let's move on to the next game. Still got 2 more games to hit, guys. So OKC and Phoenix. We'll start off on the Phoenix side. Phoenix, man, they're another team. It's hard to get excited about these Phoenix guys just because now that Kevin Durant is fully healthy, playing full minutes, we don't really know what we're going to get from Booker, Ayton, Paul. I think their production is definitely going to take a little bit of a hit. Now, Booker has still had big games even with KD, and actually the last 3 games with KD have still been like huge games for Booker, 60, 57, and 60 Draftkings points. Does this continue, though? I would be highly surprised if he continues to put up 55, 60 Draftkings points a night. But it's at least good to see him playing, putting up big games, even playing with Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant did get up to 40 minutes last game, so I think he's pretty much full go now. I don't think there's going to be any minutes limit on him here. So in a good matchup against OKC, I think Kevin Durant might be my favorite play on Phoenix. Normally, we don't see Kevin Durant below 10K. Obviously, his role on this Phoenix team might be a little bit different. He might not be as high of a usage guy as he was on Brooklyn. But still, I think Kevin Durant at 9,800, especially given he played 40 minutes last game, looks okay. I would rather play him over Devin Booker between those two. It's a great matchup for DeAndre Ayton, so I don't mind going to Ayton at 7,400. We've seen OKC be very vulnerable to bigs this season. They've been a bad rebounding team as well, so this is definitely a spot where Ayton should be able to dominate on the glass. If the minutes are there and if this game is competitive, he definitely offers enough upside in this matchup to pay off this price tag. So probably my second favorite play on Phoenix is Ayton. And that's really it. I don't really want to consider anyone else on this Suns team. Okogie, Campaign, none of these guys are in play for me. So let's move on to the other side of this game now with OKC. And OKC is definitely a team we're going to have to look to today. We already got word that SGA is not playing today. And then Jalen Williams did not play on Tuesday. We'll have to see. It's already been reported, so he is going to be out again as well. So no Jalen Williams again and no SGA too for OKC. So we kind of know who we can expect to have a big role. We can expect a big role for Josh Giddey, a big role for Lou Dort. I'm guessing Isaiah Joe starts in place of SGA. He's going to be a pretty good value. We saw Aaron Wiggins start in place of Jalen Williams on Tuesday. He played pretty big minutes. Not the best permanent producer, but I assume he starts again. So, man, we're going to have to look at some of these OKC guys. We'll start off with Josh Giddey. Obviously, without SGA here, we can expect Josh Giddey to take on a much bigger role. I don't love the matchup against Phoenix, and I think this is definitely a game that has blowout risk. It's the second night of a back-to-back. They're playing in Phoenix. Phoenix is fully healthy. It's a scary spot, no doubt, but man, if this game is competitive, we've seen Giddey can just stuff the stat sheet. When he gets the minutes, he can put up a triple-double. I think he had a triple-double on Tuesday night. So I'm definitely interested in Giddey today at 7,600 without SGA. I think Lou Dort sees a big boost as well. Now, his price tag has come up to 6K, so at 6K, I wouldn't consider Lou Dort a priority here, but I think he is still a playable option. And then, these value guys like Isaiah Joe should have to play a lot here. I think he will see plenty of minutes without SGA and without Jalen Williams, so he is definitely on my radar at 4,400. Aaron Wiggins at 3,500. Again, he started on Tuesday night. I assume he'll start again, so he's going to be someone to consider for value at 3,500. Revenge game for Dario Saric. Dario Saric, he only played 15 minutes on Tuesday, but he was really productive in those 15 minutes. He had 20 DraftKings points in 15 minutes. You would think without Jalen Williams and no SGA either, there's going to be more minutes available for Dario Saric here. So at 3,400, I kind of like him as a GPP dart throw. I think he's definitely in play for value. Wouldn't go to anyone else on OKC, though. I think I'd just kind of keep it to those guys. So that's probably it for the Thunder here. I think that's it for this game. It's a scary spot, no doubt. There's definitely blowout risk here, but these Thunder guys, they're going to have to play, and a lot of these guys are cheap, especially, once you get past Giddey and Dort, you've just got a lot of value. So, yeah, that'll do it for that one. Let's move on to the next game, last game of the night, the Raptors and the Clippers. So for the Clippers today, they are pretty much fully healthy for this game, besides Norman Powell, who's going to be out for, I think, the next few weeks or something. But for the Clippers, we'll start off with Kawhi and PG. You got 9K price tag for Kawhi, 8,900 for PG. At these price tags, I think Kawhi's my preferred between the two. I don't love either one today. The matchup against Toronto is not great. I assume OG is probably going to guard Kawhi here. OG is a very, very strong defender, but Kawhi's going to play massive minutes. His usage is going to be great. He's a guy that can stuff the stat sheet. He's been a productive permanent producer this season. I prefer him over Paul George, just choosing between those two guys. Again, neither one of the Clippers guys I think are priorities today, but I definitely think Kawhi's my preferred between the two. Russell Westbrook at 7,200 is okay as well. He did play 34 minutes last game. Wasn't very productive, but it was good to see him play 34 minutes. He got 36 minutes the game before that. Obviously, the game before that was without Kawhi, but if we're going to get like 34, 35, 36 minutes from Russell Westbrook at 7,200 with how he can stuff the stat sheet, I'm kind of interested in Westbrook here. Don't love the matchup, but I think the price tag and the minutes, being consistent lately definitely makes him look kind of appealing. But the rest of the Clippers, Zubac, Plumlee, none of these guys are very interesting. I mean, the Clippers are a deep team. They're going to play a lot of guys, so really you just kind of want to focus on the main guys like Kawhi, PG, Westbrook. Nothing else looks that great from LA. Now, on the other side with the Raptors, the Raptors are a team, we kind of know what we're getting from them. We know who's going to get minutes here. Siakam, Van Vliet, we can expect big minutes from them in this game if it is competitive. Siakam's price tag starting to it keeps just coming down. He's down to 8,500 now. Siakam, though, has not really shown much of an upside lately, and I think now that he's playing with Jakob Poeltl, that's definitely hurting him in terms of production, just because Siakam's not going to play as many minutes as center. His rebounding numbers have taken a big hit lately. The price tag, though, at 8,500, I think makes him at least a viable GPP play, just because we know Siakam can easily outperform the salary. It's not, his game log obviously does not look pretty lately. And then Van Vliet's going to play massive minutes if this game's closed. I think at 8,400, he's a fine option as well. He's been a little bit more consistent lately. Matchup against the Clippers, especially if he's going to be guarded by Westbrook, I think this is definitely a plus spot for Van Vliet. So he's fine. Scotty Barnes at 6,800 feels priced about right. Not super interested in him. Jakob Poeltl is definitely an interesting play. We saw him get up to 32 minutes last game in that matchup against Jokic. You never know how many minutes Poeltl's going to play. Some nights he'll play 32. Some nights he'll play 25. When he does get those 32-minute games, he can easily put up 40-plus Draftkings points. And the Clippers, I think, are a plus matchup for centers. So I'm definitely interested in Poeltl here. He's probably more of a GPP option just because the minutes are a little bit volatile. But we know when the minutes are there, he can put up a big game because he's a guy that can stuff the stat sheet. And then OG Anunoby, been pretty underwhelming lately, but the minutes have still been strong. That's one positive you can take from OG is that he is going to play 35, 36 minutes here. Who knows how many fantasy points he puts up? He could put up 20 fantasy points. He could put up 40 fantasy points. He's going to play like 36 minutes, though, and I think that at least makes him a viable option at 5,900. But the rest of the Raptors, I'm going to pass on here, and I think that's it for this game. I think that's it for this 7-game slate. Not the most exciting 7-game slate, I'll be honest. There's a lot of there's a lot of just gross DFS games, a lot of slow pace, low scoring games, but we'll see what kind of injury news we get today, if any value opens up as the day goes on. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it helped. Make sure you hit that like button down below if you guys enjoyed. Hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And if you guys, again, are new to the channel, you haven't checked out PrizePicks yet, PrizePicks, sponsor of the video. You guys can sign up for PrizePicks. Use my promo code NOLA. When you do sign up for PrizePicks with my promo code, PrizePicks will match your first deposit up to $100. Definitely check them out if you guys have not yet. Use that promo code and get your deposit bonus when you do sign up. But best of luck on this slate, guys. Hope you guys all win some money tonight, and we will see you guys in the next video.